come to you from the desert in Tucson, Arizona, where Wildcat fans are all fired up for their home opener. It's the ACC Virginia Cavaliers and the Pac-10 Arizona Wildcats. Hi everybody, Steve Physiok, Marcus Johnson with you. Arizona has been one of college basketball's elite programs since Lute Olson took over in the early 1980s, but this year they have started with 1 win, 2 loss. Last time that happened, 1989. What's the story, Marcus?
Well, I mean, they lost to 2 pretty good programs, Steve.
Yes,
Michigan State and UConn, but even against Kansas, they struggle a bit. I think Lute Olson uses this as a teaching tool, and Lute Olson is really going to sink his teeth into that.
Well, he's also looking for a go-to guy. Last year he had 2, Channing Frye, Salim Stoudemire. Combined, they averaged for almost 35 points per game. Is hot sauce Hassan Adams that guy this year?
Yeah, he's the go-to guy. Go to the glass, get you some offensive rebounds. Go to the basket when you get it on the wing on slashing moves, and go to that jumper only as a last resort. But that jump shot is a work in progress. But where he gets most of his points are inside, attacking. He has got to be one of the most athletic players in the entire country. Coming down in the break, he is just a nightmare in transition if you're a defensive player. Hot sauce, though, has got to continue to work on his outside shot. That's why that shooting percentage is down.
Just 36%. Now, Arizona went to Virginia last year and lost by 18, one of their worst games of the season, 78-60. Sean Singletary was the star in that game.
He really filled up the stat sheet in that game, did a terrific job, 15 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 6 steals, sold some coffee, sold some popcorn, did everything you could ask of him. Now, he's a guy that's not going to knock down a lot of long-range shots, about a 32% shooter from long range, but he's got the floaters, he's got the in-between stuff, and he's got to take care of the basketball if Virginia is to win this game.
Singletary's from Philly, so is Shakur. Revenge, maybe?
Well, you know, Philly guys, according to Singletary, have a lot of heart. I thought all ball players, LA guys have heart. Everybody has heart, man. But they're tough. They're tough guys.
Well, it's the ACC and the Pac-10. Enough said right there. We've got Virginia going against the Arizona Wildcats. Our college basketball opener starts on FSN. Arizona, we're at the McHale Center. Everybody dressed in red and blue. Virginia at 2-0 against Arizona. They are 1-2. Virginia's lineup has 2 freshmen, Mikalauskis and Diani. Mikalauskis at 6'8", Diani at 6'5", and Soroye is their center, but Reynolds and Singletary are their 2 keys, and their backcourt will be very important in the success of this season. Dave Lato is the coach. He won 42 games the last 2 years at DePaul. He takes over his first year at Virginia. And for the Arizona Wildcats, Ivan Radinovich showed up at the shoot-around today ill. Lute Olson sent him home, so he will not start. Instead, it will be Brett Brielmeyer, a walk-on from Minnesota. Walters is the center. Adams, Rogers, and Shakur are the guards. And there's the Hall of Famer, Lute Olson. 47 years as a head coach, high school, junior college, Division I level. He is one of the very best in college basketball. And the Chrysler game summary, game plan, take us away.
Well, you know, Hoosiers is one of my all-time favorite movies, so Virginia's got to make Arizona chuck it from the cheap seats. Virginia's got to take care of the basketball. Arizona's forced 70 turnovers in 3 games. And then Arizona, they've got to find some chemistry between Adams and Shakur and Rogers, and then Chipmunk Tempo. Remember how I used to play those old albums, 33 to 30, playing at 45 or 70. And it sounded like Alvin, but it would sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks real fast. But that's how Arizona wants this game, like a real fast kind of Chipmunk tempo out here.
Well, Arizona usually will go with 4 perimeter players. And there's Mustafa Shakur. He's a talented point guard from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They really want him to step up his total game this year. Soroye will jump center against the 6'4" Hassan Adams. Soroye at 6'11", and it is won by Virginia. Into the hands of Sean Singletary, the sophomore from Philadelphia. And here is Arizona right away. Rogers taking it in and has it knocked away, and he is fouled. Our officials tonight, Dave Hall, Bruce Hicks, and Randy Burkhardt.
If there's one good thing about Arizona in Maui was their defense, and I talked about the perimeter chemistry offensively. Defensively, there's been no such problem. Arizona came up with 39 steals in 3 games. That's just incredible. Chris Rogers, Hassan Adams, the main 2 culprits.
They forced 70 turnovers in 3 games against 3 very good teams. Kansas, Connecticut, and Michigan State. Rogers at the free throw line. He is the guy filling in for Salim Stoudemire. Lute Olson lost two tremendous players, Channing Frye and Stoudemire, who combined average 34 points, 10 rebounds per game, and both are playing in the NBA and playing quite well.
And both those guys, in my mind, are their two best outside shooters. You say, yeah, Salim 50% from the three-point range, but Channing Frye is just a devastating medium-range jump shooter, especially off the pick and pop. But here's some of that Chipmunk tempo, full-court pressure from Arizona trying to speed this game up.
Rogers, their best perimeter defender, and he is on Singletary.
Virginia going to be real selective with their shots. They don't mind working some time off the clock to get a good look like that one.
Singletary with the fade puts Virginia up 2-1. Walters setting the screens down low. Working inside is Shakur, and then kicks it out deep to Chris Rogers. Shakur nails the three in the corner.
That's what Virginia's got to do, is make Shakur, make Hassan Adams prove that they can knock down that outside shot on a consistent basis. Kind of early in the shot clock.
Singletary misses that three and turns it back over to Arizona.
Rashawn Singletary out of Philly. All ACC last year. Nice screen by Mikalowskis to set him free, to emancipate him right at the left elbow. And then Shakur, defensive on slow, reacting, closing out, no hand up. Wet, knocks down the jumper.
Brielmaier getting the start for Radinovich. Ill today. He is in the building, but Lute Olson did not want him on the bench, just in case the other guys caught the virus. Hassan Adams misses the jumper, and Singletary has it, bringing it down in the face of Shakur, who now takes him. Point guard on point guard, and Philly against Philly. Both are underclassmen. Singletary the sophomore and Shakur the junior.
Soroye and Mikalowskis as blockers in their scheme offensively to set good picks and try and free up the smaller players for penetration baskets like that one.
Reynolds ties the game at 4. It is Shakur, Brielmaier, Adams, Rogers, and Walters. And Rogers gets it down low and scores easily. He has 3 points.
Nice feed from Shakur. Good job, Chris Rogers, moving off the ball defensively. Reynolds has got to do a better job of allowing. Oh, there's another one.
And here goes Adams.
And there's another one. Oops. Yeah, again, ball value. Talked about that as one of the keys. You've got to be aware and alert anytime Adams, Shakur, Rogers are anywhere in the vicinity. And the vicinity is like anywhere in McHale.
And because of Arizona's depth, they can go 12 deep and press all the times. Olson said he would be very selective when he presses.
I worked on that full court 2-2-1 press yesterday, mainly trying to take the ball out of the guards, the point guard's hands, and making a guy like this, Diani, have to beat you.
And he misses long, and there's Chris Rogers quickly up the floor to Shakur on the right side.
Taking Diani out of his comfort zone, making him have to create his own shot off the dribble.
Brielmaier left his post, trying to set a screen on the other side, and Singletary scores on the other end, and Virginia has cut it to 2.
Did you see him split the 2 defenders at midcourt to weave his way around to the basket? I mean, this kid is extremely talented, low to the ground already, and a terrific ball handler. Got to and did that without a palming violation, which is one of the points of emphasis this year. Most guys would have palmed that thing to take it through.
Shakur, nice post up.
The 2 Philly guys going at it. Singletary and Shakur, they've known each other, played against each other a lot since high school, summer league, AAU ball. And you get the feeling Shakur feels like he's got the advantage inside, posting up the smaller Singletary. But here's Hot Sauce just going to jump. Surprise Reynolds, come through with the finish on the slam. Again, you got to be aware. You got to take care of the basketball. You shouldn't be surprised at that defensive help by Hassan Adams.
Adams won their slam dunk contest in a revenge match with Fox Sports Net's John Sally. Sally did not make the dunk, and Hot Sauce threw it down from his shoulder. There's a violation against Virginia, and that's something that Lute Olson feels will be successful this year, and he really feels that this team by February will be better than last year's 30-win team. that lost to Illinois in the regional finals.
And that's saying a whole lot, but you think about the game against Michigan State, and Michigan State's two great wings, Mo Ager, Shannon Brown. They went scoreless. The entire team did the final 6 minutes of regulation in Hawaii.
And this guy is a big reason why Kurt Walters, a big 7-foot post, he has to stipel. Channing Frye is now playing in the NBA, but they think he's the most improved player in the team.
Speaking about Maui, he had a dunk on Josh Boone of UConn that had me jumping out of my seat and wearing out the TiVo button on the remote control, the replay button.
And you reminded him about that before the game tonight. Wheelmeyer takes the miss. Here comes Shakur. Arizona has Rogers left. He'll take the three. No good, and Singletary with the rebound. Singletary last year in the win by Virginia had 15 points to go with 8 rebounds and 6 assists. It is knocked out of bounds. It'll be Cavaliers basketball. Last touch by Walters. And there's a timeout on the floor with 15 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Mustafa Shakur, Philly on Philly. It's Shakur time. Arizona has a lead on Virginia, and the last time the Wildcats opened 1-2, you have to go all the way back to the 1989-90 season when they went 1-2, but they rebounded by winning the Pac-10 that year at 25-7. And Lute Olson's Wildcats are the pick in the Pac-10 to win it again over Stanford and UCLA and Oregon.
And a lot
Washington.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the depth of this team. I mean, it's so much deeper than last year, which not only helps you during games, but even more importantly, in my mind, helps you in practice. You got better competition to go against each day in practice, which is going to make you a better basketball team.
Meantime, Virginia is 2-0. They beat their first 2 opponents by a combined 91 points, but they were Liberty and Richmond. Here on the three and knocking it home is Adrian Joseph. Jim Rosborough, who is the associate head coach of Arizona, told me he'll come off the bench with his left arm ready to fire, and he does.
Out of Trinidad, went to prep school, went to high school in New Jersey, and he's instant offense for them. Very good at creating his own shot, which they're going to need out here.
Marcus Williams in the game gets it over to Hassan Adams. Adams missing, and the rebound goes to Virginia. That was #1 in the Arizona keys to victory chart. Rebounding. Rebounding Keys there, fast break, and here they go with Rogers left. Shakur drops it up to Hot Sauce, and he misses the layup.
Great look by Shakur. Does a great job of delivering that pass on the move at full speed.
Second foul on Shakur, a blocking foul.
Sean Singletary had a little bit of a discussion with Shakur on this play. Singletary going to try and go right. Shakur looked like he had pretty good position on the play. Singletary had a few comments for Shakur, maybe discussing the merits of Geno's versus Pat's cheesesteaks and filling, you think?
Well, Shakur, who went to Friends High School, and Singletary to William Penn Charter School. Now one goes to the sideline, and the new point guard will be Daniel Dillon or Chris Rogers. We'll see who takes over when they come down the floor.
Arizona a little bit of a different zone alignment. They're kind of a 1-1-3 amoeba look.
Dillon, strong to the hoop, misses, and the rebound by Mikalauskis. Reynolds missing the three, and Adams clearing the rebound. He reads the floor, takes it straight down the middle, and it could be a charge. It will be a charge on Hassan Adams.
Yeah, that was a charge all the way. Hassan Adams made up his mind at midcourt what he was going to do. Defender recognized red, was able to step in there, give up the body, and take the charge. That's Reynolds right there doing a nice job. And that's not an easy charge to take. You see a guy coming at you full speed down the middle of the floor, 10 feet running start. But he stays in there and takes a hit. Dave Lato's got to love that. That's the foundation that Dave Lato wants to build this program on. Strong, tough defense, especially on the interior.
And here's a steal, and Williams goes in and scores. He was 4 for 5 in his last game.
Again, all-out pressure, more of a 1-2-2 full-court zone press.
We're here in Tucson, Arizona at the McHale Center. It's the #9 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats, hosting the Virginia Cavaliers, who have opened 2-0 this year.
And Lute Olson very comfortable matching up 6'7" Marcus Williams against point guards. He played Drew Neitzel, the point guard from Michigan State, for long stretches in that game.
defense that time by Daniel Dillon. Adams goes behind his back to a streaking Williams, who has it blocked from behind, taken down by Jason Kane.
Well, and see, Hassan Adams held onto the ball one dribble too long on that possession and put Williams in a bad position.
Nice drive by Joseph, and Virginia cuts the lead to 3.
That's what Nathan Joseph, watching him in practice yesterday. He's the guy that if he concentrates and focuses on defense, he can get himself a lot more playing time. They're going to need his offense.
Adams missing the 3. He's missed all of his outside shots, has the 1 layup, and he's started very cold this year, only 36% from the field coming in.
As the character shooter said in the movie Hoosiers, pack it in, make them chunk it from the cheap seats. That's what Virginia's doing, and right now it's playing in their favor. Arizona cold from the outside, and then Virginia doing a nice job packing it in and shutting down the driving lanes inside.
Rogers almost gets the steal. There's the double, and we have a whistle and a travel forced by Walters and Rogers. Solid defense.
It's kind of the reverse of last year's team, Steve. Arizona, where Luke was concerned about their defense, and that was the focal point all season long. This year, the defense is there. If they can get the offense to catch up and be consistent, this Arizona team, once again, that's why they're ranked highly preseason and why they picked to win the Pac-10 this year. Their defense, though, is really solid here early in the season.
And they bring in another strong defender, Mohamed Tangara. There's a 3 that misses by Rogers.
Shots like that. See, and early in the shot clock, that's a 28-foot jump shot, 25 feet. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that you can get at any time during that possession, and Chris Rogers takes it early.
Reynolds misses badly. We have a whistle away from the shot, and it'll go against the Virginia Cavaliers.
When I talk about Chris Rogers, he does a great job defensively contesting the jumper of J.R. Reynolds on the outside.
There's a time out on the floor. Lute Olson will talk with his troops as we head to break. 11:32 remaining. Arizona by 3 over Virginia. Number 9, Arizona leads Virginia by 3. Next week, ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns to FSN with a doubleheader beginning with Virginia taking on Georgia Tech, followed by Virginia Tech battling number 1 ranked Duke. Coverage begins at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, only on FSN. And the Associated Press Top 10, it's a surprise to see only 1 ACC school and 1 Pac-10 school in there. Arizona number 9, Duke number 1 in the nation. They are a dominant team. Pac-10 has 2 others in the top 25, UCLA at 16 and Washington unbeaten at 6-0. They're ranked 25th. Maryland, meantime, is 23rd and Wake Forest 24th.
And Stanford started out in the top 25, but they lost to Gonzaga by 16 at home. You know, Matt Harris, that knocked them out. They'll be back.
Oh, you mean the Anteaters of UC Irvine?
The Anteaters, yes.
Here is Dillon. Giving it up to J.P. Prince, who just came into the game. Gets it back to Dillon, now to Williams. And there's 3 freshmen on the floor. And Williams hits the underside of the iron. You've got 3 true freshmen on the floor for Arizona. 1 redshirt freshman in Mohamed Tangara. And also the senior Chris Rogers, who's running the point.
Well, with no Ivan Rodinovich out because of illness, this is a great opportunity for the freshmen, especially Marcus Williams and Prince, to get a lot more playing time and see what they can bring to the table.
To break the pressure. Williams averaged almost 28 points per game in Seattle, Washington. He's had a rough start to this one.
He's a terrific scorer. He had a 47-point game for Seattle Roosevelt High School against Franklin High School in the playoffs last year. And not what you'd call a pure shooter. As a matter of fact, talking with their coaching staff, they got to work on his release on his shot. The ball kind of has a funny sideways rotation. But against Michigan State, he was invaluable down the stretch. He was the one guy that seemed to relish moving the basketball. The ball didn't stop when he got it in his hands.
Well, he just made his first free throw. He started the year 0 for 7 for Lute Olson. But Olson really feels he's going to have an outstanding future, and right now he's the number 1 forward off the bench.
I told you he needed to work on his shot.
They made him both. Well, his rotation looked a little better.
A little better. Still needs some work. That release point needs some work. But you know the coaching staff's going to do that. Now here again, once again, 1, 2, 1, 1, full court pressure. I keep changing it because they keep changing it, folks. They start out in a 1-2-1-1. It kind of morphs into a 1-2-2, looking to put one trap on, looking to make Virginia hopefully try and speed up the game if you're Arizona.
And Arizona can do that because Virginia only has 7 guys on scholarship. They're really only 7 deep. Even in their blowouts, they only played through 7 players. The guys got a little garbage time late. With the rebound is Jason Kane, and he puts it back in. Virginia within 3. Adams back in the game with Prince, Williams, Tungara, and Dillon.
Virginia changes up their defense. They want to keep Arizona off balance. They're going into that zone, packing it in, making the Wildcats, Hassan Adams, have to knock down some jump shots.
And Adams now 1 for 6 from the floor, and he's missed all 4 shots from outside. 1 inside, 1 outside, and rebounding has been a concern. Wildcats losing Channing Frye, one of the top rebounders in the conference last year.
Well, on the weak side of the board, you see Kane just muscle the freshman Marcus Williams. Well, Coach Don Nelson called that doing your dirty work early when the ball is in flight. Officials watching the ball, not necessarily watching the contact, and gets the easy putback. Williams has got to be a lot tougher establishing and holding the lockout position inside.
Isaiah Fox now in the game gets the left-hand hook.
And Isaiah's got to capitalize on this opportunity. No Radinovich, he's going to get increased minutes. Didn't play well the first game against Kansas over in Maui. So he's got a chance to get himself, work himself back into the rotation. Doing that kind of stuff.
And on this end of the floor is where the young players can make their mark and impress Coach Lute Olson. A steal by Prince.
How you like this, Coach?
There's a freshman impressing the coach with his defense.
Lute Olson really high on J.P. Prince coming out of high school in Memphis last year. He talked about in glowing terms, and just the fact that he's a winner. And he's going to be a terrific player once he gets a little bit stronger.
And boy, was he a winner at Memphis White Station High School. They won 3 state titles with Prince as their point guard.
Well, this is the guy that's got to get on track for Virginia.
And someone didn't screen out Kane, and he drops in his 2nd field goal.
That's got to really upset Lute Olson. Again, they got killed on the boards by Michigan State by 20, and right now they're just not aggressively pursuing those rebounds. I know that was an air ball. That's a hard ball to rebound, but nobody was blocking out.
Daniel Dillon missing the 3. It bounces out deep, taken down by Dione, and he tries to power it in on Prince, but Prince with the foul trying to go for the steal.
Yeah, cheap seat chunking. Just pack it in and make the outside shooters, especially with this crew on the floor. The best outside shooter on the floor on this squad. Trying to see who it would be. Put him in the hat and throw out a name. Might be Marcus Williams, the freshman, and he's got that sideways rotation.
Dave Lato saw J.P. Prince commit his first foul, so at the free throw line is Dione. He's made 4 of his 5 foul shots this year, but misses the first of 2 here. As Virginia trying to crawl within 4 of the Arizona Wildcats.
I think that's a great hire, though, Virginia. Dave Lato, I think, is going to do a tremendous job. He showed at DePaul what he could do, and he kind of cut his teeth under Jim Calhoun at Northeastern University, and then at UConn, they won a national championship in 1999.
14 years with Jim Calhoun. They are very good friends.
And did a great job. And he's one of those whistle guys. You got coaches who use whistles, guys who don't use whistles. He also doesn't use a whistle. Lato's a whistle guy to get his players' attention because he's kind of soft-spoken. But he was in their faces yesterday at practice.
Rogers expecting his teammate to cut down the lane. He stopped, and Rogers' pass is intercepted. Joseph now defended by Williams.
Williams, nice job keeping Adrian Joseph out of the middle. That's the soft spot on the defense. Arizona works awful hard on not allowing middle penetration.
Those long arms of both Prince and Williams deny Singletary, but they get it back in Virginia, now within 2 of Arizona. Arizona going with Rogers, Fox, Prince, Adams, Williams.
Virginia falls right back into their zone defense. 1-3-1 this time, trapping the baseline, coming out soft on the shooters on the wing.
Prince gets it back, fires a 3 and misses.
Arizona's gone stone cold, Steve.
Well, Lute Olson said the Maui Classic was a learning tool, but he said the one thing they came away with, they need to pass the ball better, only shooting 36%. This team shot 48% last season.
Well, against the zone, I mean, you have to penetrate the gap. You have to look to get the ball inside into the post like you did to Isaiah Fox a few possessions back. Now they are settling for the first open long jump shot, and that's what the Cavaliers are giving them.
Singletary to Joseph. Joseph behind his back against Rogers. Good D. Turns it back. 2 seconds of the shot clock. Stolen by Adams. Williams on the left. And here goes Adams to the paint and has it blocked and knocked away. And Virginia with great get-back defense.
Yeah, that's great transition defense, or get-back defense as you call it. And Adrian Joseph did a nice job with the long arm of the law of swatting the shot of Hassan Adams.
Singletary banks it home, and this game is tied at 20.
Big baller shot caller, Sean Singletary. Nice job on the hang, the body control in the paint.
Williams to Fox, good pass.
A little high-low against that zone. I mean, that's where you're going to get some easy points inside. If Isaiah Fox will continue to move and present himself and get open like he did. Nice pass from the freshman Marcus Williams.
Sean Singletary working against Chris Rogers. Last year, the Cavaliers won 14, lost 15.
A little UCLA high post cut. Ball screened by Kane for Adrian Joseph. Then you got your shooter coming off the right side. Beautiful execution.
And Virginia has the lead at 23-22. There's a timeout called by Arizona. Lute Olson does not like the way the team is playing, and right now he's talking with his senior, Hassan Adams. Mikalauskis along with Coach Dave Lato. Virginia coming back well after being down by as many as 8 points in the first half.
Again, beautiful offense. You're going to find Singletary coming off a double screen on the right side. You saw the other shooter, Reynolds, curling off a screen on the left side in case that wasn't open, but that's the kind of execution that's got to make Dave Lato ecstatic in his first year at Virginia. You see the gentleman behind him. I mean, that's Coach Rob Lanier, first cousin of one of my former teammates, Bob Lanier. But he was a successful player at St. Bonaventure. He coached at Siena for a few years, made the NCAA tournament. Just a terrific staff for Dave Lato.
And when you've got a good point guard, Sean Singletary last year demolished Arizona, and there are many who feel that he is the best playmaker in the ACC.
One of the top assist to turnover ratio guys in the conference last year. The second best freshman in the conference to a guy named Marvin Williams, who's now playing for the Atlanta Hawks out of North Carolina. 2-3 zone. Dave Lato said he's going to mix it up, especially out of timeouts.
Rielmeyer and Walters back in the game. Let's see if they have a little high-low action with that. Wild shot taken by Williams. And they had plenty of time on the shot clock.
Again, I talked about the offensive chemistry, especially on the perimeter. It's a work in progress. The defense is sound and solid. But offensively, with no Salim Stoudemire, no Channing Frye, it's understandable that there is going to be a leadership void offensively. A go-to guy void, if you will.
Well, they have barely had any minutes from Mustafa Shakur because he hasn't played since picking up the 2 fouls and vanished to the sideline.
Deion should have drifted baseline. Deion for that penetration move by Singletary. You penetrate baseline jump shot's going to be open.
Rielmeyer gets it back to Fox, who swings it out to Williams. Well, Williams not afraid of taking those shots.
Not afraid of it, but again, Kirk Walters in the game. You need to look to pound the ball inside a little bit more, or you're going to be seeing a lot of that. Sean Singletary in transition.
Singletary now with 11 points. He has been manhandling Arizona the last 2 years, and Virginia has a 3-point lead on the number 9 team in the nation.
Again, 2-3 zone. You mix it up, keep guys out of foul trouble if you're Dave Lato, and also force Arizona to again chunk it from the cheap seats.
Williams looking to shoot, flips it low to Walters. That's more like it, but Walters is pounded from behind, and he will be at the free throw line.
A little bit more patience, you know, a little bit better effort to get the ball in the middle to Marcus Williams. It then opens up things inside where he can feed Kirk Walters.
Sean Singletary has Virginia on a 12-2 run, and they now have the lead on the Arizona Wildcats. Virginia showing great ball movement to take the lead over Arizona, Marcus.
And great offensive execution. And my old coach, John Wooden, I know he's smiling watching this. That's the UCLA cut Sean Singletary going to use. Going to get a little on-the-ball screen. And then here you got a little double screen right here for Singletary. This man's going to come off here if the pass isn't there for Singletary. But it is there. Defense switches a little slow. And again, Singletary just a 32% shooter from long range. But he was left wide open on that play. But just tremendous execution. The only thing missing was the bank shot.
So Singletary will go to the sideline with 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half. He has torched the Cats early with 11 points.
And now it's time for J.R. Reynolds to get into the act. He's 1 for 5 in this game. He just has 2 points. He's had some tremendous games during his career, especially during the ACC tournament for Virginia. So you know he can play in the clutch and play under pressure.
And he has point guard experience in the past. We have 2 point guards really in J.R. Reynolds and Sean Singletary. Kirk Walters missed his first. You can see he's been getting the minutes this year. They wanted to redshirt him last year, but because of the lack of progress of Isaiah Fox, they were forced to get Walters back in there because Channing Frye, it just seemed like whenever he would get in early foul trouble, Arizona really struggled last season.
Chris Rogers is going to make J.R. Reynolds prove that he can run that point position and almost force Virginia into the turnover.
He is one of the premier perimeter defenders in the nation. What a pest.
Lock him up, Chris.
And he does just that. One of the top defenders in the country. We'll be right back with the Cavaliers leading the Wildcats. That mom and son waiting for Arizona to heat up. They are down by 3 to the Virginia Cavaliers, and Totally Football is your home for the latest information on both college and the NFL all season long. With interviews, analysis, and breakdowns of the key matchups, we've got everything you need to get ready for kickoff. Totally Football tomorrow at 6 o'clock only on FSN. Steve Pizziak, Marcus Johnson with you. Lute Olson, 1997 national championship coach. He has led his team to 4 Final Fours, and they've won 10 Pac-10s. Rogers almost got the steal on the inbounds pass by Virginia.
Looked like he was trying to deflect it. He thought Hassan Adams was maybe running with him, but I thought he could have caught that one and corralled it in himself. Wow.
Singletary way deep.
Way deep. And I said that's maybe the weak point in his game, but he's knocked down a couple of long-range jumpers. Just a 32% three-point shooter last year. But you can tell he's put in some work during the offseason.
There's Rogers firing it out to Hassan Adams, and that's a 3 that misses. Briomeyer takes it back up strong, and he is fouled from behind by Jason Kane.
You know, I mean, as a defender, you just don't think he's going to pull it from right there. You got to get the ball back and just, what is that, about to get 25 feet from the basket and knocks it down. I mean, the scouting report didn't tell you that. If you're Chris Rogers, and Brett Brillmeyer does a nice job, the first Arizona recruit from the state of Minnesota, did a nice job on the offensive rebound, the power dribble, go to the opposite side of the glass and draw some contact. I love the way he played in Hawaii also. He got the start against UConn, and nothing spectacular, but just did a nice job of providing toughness on the inside.
But that only the second walk-on to ever start for Lute Olson. Now, he was the Class A MVP in the state of Minnesota and had to walk on. He had some scholarship offers, but turned them down to come here and learn from Coach Olson. Carrying violation against Virginia. Arizona within 5 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
Rusek told me before the game, it's one of the major points of emphasis with the officials this year, cleaning up the ball handling, the palming violations. So, we're going to see a couple of those pretty much every game early in the season.
They've got to go to Walters a little bit more. He's only had a couple of touches and he has 2 field goals.
And you see how easy he got that shot off. I mean, it's great post position, too easy if you're a defender, but he is just up and over Mikalauskas and Joseph and Kane, the interior people for Virginia.
Arizona moves back to man defense, and it is Rogers on Singletary, and that's a 5-second count, and Rogers is doing it almost by himself defensively.
And that's the strength of Chris's game. I mean, a great score, 30-point-per-game score in high school. For Kirk Walters, nice duck move inside, terrific bounce pass. He's got great hands, and then has really worked on his strength to hold his position and not get knocked off balance as easily as last year.
They have forced 12 Cavalier turnovers, and yet Arizona is trailing by 3 points because of such poor shooting. 10 of 28 floor and 1 of 10 from three-point range.
Which tells you need to continue to work it inside.
Walters is fouled, and Kirkland got to the free throw line.
Work it inside. Good things will happen. They get the shot off. They do the contact. They get fouled on the
Dave Lato just saw Mamadi Diani pick up his second personal foul, so he may have to come out. Isaiah Fox will come back in. They'll go with two bigs. That's 6'9" Isaiah Fox and 7-foot Kirk Walters. Reynolds on the floor with Singletary. They played almost every single minute.
More patient, working the ball around, a little bit better rhythm jumper, and there's Hassan Adams doing what he does best, offensive rebounding.
But Arizona 1 for 11 from three-point range. Fox grabbing it, giving it back to Rogers, and Rogers, they're now 1 for 12 from three. And a whistle and a personal foul will be called on Isaiah Fox, and this is very poor shooting by the Arizona Wildcats.
And right now, yeah, you're absolutely right. And they're missing the presence of Mustafa Shakur, who's in early foul trouble. But he's the one guy that has the quickness to penetrate the gaps and get the defense to collapse in that zone and give you a little bit cleaner look on the outside, or maybe hit a big guy rolling to the basket.
Offensive foul on Sean Singletary. Dave Lato, he shakes his head, upset with the call as his point guard now picks up his second personal, and I'm sure Dave Lato's going to have to get Singletary off the floor.
Yeah, and I thought it was a questionable call by Bruce Six until I see the replay and you see that left arm of Singletary kind of pushing Chris Rogers away. You can't do that here on the West Coast. Maybe in the East Coast you can get away with it, but in the Pac-10, that's a foul, baby.
Isaiah Fox knocks it down. They just drifted back, gave Fox room, and he scores his 5th and 6th points of the evening.
Well, have you seen Isaiah shoot? No wonder they drifted back, but he's the one guy that's hitting outside shot in Arizona.
Walters with the block. Adams brings it down. He has Fox left side, and Isaiah, a good passer, takes it up in the wing, holds it back to Rogers.
He ain't bashful.
No. Adams rebounding. Around the back, misses the shot. Gets it back up and in.
Yeah, that's that blue-collar, hard hat, thickly sliced bologna sandwich work ethic that I like to see from Hassan Adams on the floor.
Arizona has scored 6 straight points after they fell behind by 5. And with 35.9 seconds left, let's take a look at Hot Shot attacking the basket.
Working the glass, misses the first one, a little through the leg action, and gets the easy layup. But you don't know nothing about that thick bologna slices for lunch, do you? You never
No.
Yeah, okay.
Wait a second.
I mean,
Liverwurst for me, brother.
Yeah, you know, that uneven bologna, big thick slice with little mustard, little white bread. Lunch pail.
Well, last year's senior stars, Channing Frye, it's the worst. My mom used to give it to me for lunch. Salim Stoudemire, how about this? 1,960 points, 1,789 for Channing Frye. Frye has had 3 straight 20-point games for Larry Brown and the New York Knicks, and Salim Stoudemire had a 30-point game the other night. Yeah. Larry Brown said, hey, there's a reason Frye is playing so early and playing so well. He said because he came from a great program. He stayed there 4 years. He learned from a superstar coach. Great compliment from Larry Brown.
Yeah, and everybody said that Channing Frye was too soft, and Hassan Adams has got to learn to find his niche offensively. And right now, he's a little bit out of sorts, a little bit out of sync, and that's mainly from trying to prove to the pros that he can play on the perimeter. Do what you need to do to help your team win, and the pros will notice.
Arizona missing 2 very important pieces in this game. Ivan Radinovich, 1, and Jawan McClellan, who might be their best offensive player out until December 17th.
Got to get it up.
Rogers spins it in, and we have no basket. Are they counting it? They're counting the basket goaltending against Virginia. So a startling comeback by Arizona on a 9-0 run to close the first half.
And Lato livid into the ears of Dave Hall. He wanted an offensive foul, and it was a goaltending. The ball hit the backboard. Looked like it was starting on its downward flight, so that was a good call. But I think Dave Lato upset that no offensive foul was called on that spin move.
Last year, it was Virginia with a 14-2 run to close the first half for a 12-point halftime lead, but it's Arizona this year. with a 9-0 run to take the lead to the break. Now coming up and our Acura halftime report. December's Pac-10 Hoops on FSN. Then Marcus tells us what he is thankful for. Bologna and liverwurst.
Yes.
And the first half highlights. We'll be right back as Arizona takes a 31-28 lead on the Cavaliers from Virginia. ACC versus the Pac-10 on FSN. Time show. Virginia down by 3 to the number 9 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats, 31-28. We've got some great games on FSN this coming month of December, and why not take a look at Georgetown at Oregon.
Yeah, Georgetown, John Thompson Jr., they run the Princeton spread offense, gives them a lot of opportunity to flaunt the athleticism attacking the basket. And then for the Oregon Ducks, Aaron Brooks, one of the best point guards in the Pac-10, looking to have a breakout season, as his running mate Malik Harrison, athletic sophomore out of Detroit, and the one guy that I think shocked a lot of people last year, had a tremendous year, Bryce Taylor, athletic and can knock it down from the outside.
And look at some of the games we have in the month of December. Gonzaga against the Washington Huskies. Huskies unbeaten at 6-0. Gonzaga looks really strong with Adam Morrison leading them. Yeah. Illinois at Oregon. That's going to be in Portland. That's an excellent game.
Yeah, that is a great game. But that Gonzaga-Washington game, I mean, you got two of the best players on not only the West Coast, but in the country. Adam Morrison, you talked about him, had the 43-point game over in Maui, going against Brandon Roy.
To end the month, Stanford at UCLA and Arizona at Washington, a classic on New Year's Eve. It's Arizona 31-28. Singletary leading the way for the Cavaliers. Welcome back to Tucson, Arizona. We're the number 9 team in the nation. The Arizona Wildcats have a 3-point lead on the ACC Virginia Cavaliers. And happy holidays to you, Steve Fiziak, along with Marcus Johnson. A lot to be thankful for in this Thanksgiving season. Marcus, what are you thankful for?
Well, I'm thankful that I don't have to eat any more turkey or any more ham, Steve. I'm really getting sick of it. But if it was in front of me, you know I'd eat it. But the main thing I'm thankful for is the offensive innovators, talking about Pete Carrell with this Princeton spread offense, Carroll Williams with the flex. You see a lot of teams running the early season tournaments. We've seen some great games. Gonzaga, Michigan State, Utah, Kentucky, all the big boys playing with March Madness-like intensity. Even the developmental league in the NBA. Will Conroy, TJ Cummings, Joe Shipp, Dejon Thompson. All these guys are playing developmental basketball. It's great to see them continue their careers. And then most importantly, the coaches who've won the 700 games, the molder of men, the spanker of behinds, Lute Olson and Eddie Sutton, and Coach K and Bobby Knight and John Chaney and Jim Calhoun and Jim Boeheim. This is the golden age of coaching in college basketball. I love it. I'm so thankful for that.
And Lute Olson could go on forever. We watched his practice yesterday. Very inspiring.
Yeah, some of his assistants who played for him, Miles Simon, Reggie Gary, said that he's showing the same type of energy he showed 10 or 15 years ago, and that bodes well for this Arizona program.
It's Arizona right now against Virginia. Wildcats by 3 over the Cavaliers. We'll come back with the first half highlights after this. Sabino Canyon, where Marcus and I went hiking today. Arizona with a 3-point lead over the Virginia Cavaliers. Steve Fiziak again with Marcus Johnson. Arizona without Ivan Radinovich. They're also without maybe their top offensive player, Jawan McClellan, out until December 17th. So they looked a little rusty in that first half.
Yeah, they did indeed. And you talked about those mountains. You went hiking. And I'm thankful you got back. I'm thankful for my partner here, Steve Fiziak, maybe the biggest turkey of them all. But anyway, no, but they need to continue to, where you going, man? They got to pound the basketball inside Arizona to have more success. And Isaiah Fox, you know, the outside jumper every once in a while. You don't want to see a lot of that. This is what you want to see. Big men positioning themselves inside up in the post and getting some easy baskets. And Sean Singletary has been every bit as good as advertised. The tough shot maker. He's expanded the range on his jump shot. He's knocked down a couple of those. He's a guy that Chris Rogers has got to keep in check in the second half.
The accurate stats, Arizona continues to shoot poorly, just 37%, while Virginia at 46%. And the rebounding, the one key for Arizona has been the forced turnovers, 14. And we will come back with the second half. 31-28, Arizona. I gave you 7 seconds. We come to you from the campus of the University of Arizona. Wildcats leading the Cavaliers 31-28. Hassan Adams will start the second half, and Mustafa Shakur, who had 2 fouls early, will also come back in the game. But Adams just 2 of 10 shooting from the floor, and most of those from outside.
And Isaiah Fox gets the starting nod here in the second half based on his production in that first half. Nice job, Hassan. And there you go. Baseline as your office. Extend back with the left hand. But do what you do best. Attack the basket, Hassan Adams.
Adams settled for an outside shot in yesterday's practice, and Lute Olson shouted to him, Hassan, your best game is taking it to the basket, and he shows it and comes through with the left hand. Beautiful roll.
And the trouble with Hassan is that you want him to take some outside shots when they're there. You don't want to discourage him from ever shooting the ball outside. But he seems to get into this pattern. Once he starts shooting from the outside, he becomes exclusively into this Jerry West mindset, and he forgets that part of his game, that aspect of his game that he excels so much at. That's in the paint.
Well, if he had Jerry West shot, he may not still be at Arizona.
No, he wouldn't be. Second time that the officials have called the Cavaliers. This time Diane with the left arm push off. Now, this may be something you can get away with again. East Coast, kind of on the streets, playgrounds, or whatever. But here, Pac-10 officials, you're not going to get by with many of those.
Second foul on Diane. Mikalauskis, Diane, Soroye, Reynolds, and Singletary started the second half. Now they bring Joseph onto the floor, replacing Diane, picked up his second personal foul. Rogers goes outside, and Walters throws it down.
Walters is doing a great job at that. That was a difficult catch, kind of bobbled the ball a bit, but able to gather just enough to explode into the cup.
Singletary breaks the 3-man pressure, and missing the shot is Virginia, but they get the rebound. Mikalauskis gets it inside, and a whistle and a foul goes against the Wildcats. That's starting the second half with Walters, Shakur, Fox, Adams, and Rogers.
And here's a little play here. Now you see the 2 defenders collapse. You got a wide open Kurt Walters inside, begging for the ball, hands up as a big, huge target. And he did a great job of keeping the ball high. Didn't have to bring it down to gather, just caught and exploded.
If Virginia comes back, it's going to be the trio of Reynolds, Singletary, and this man, Adrian Joseph. And misses his first foul shot as Arizona stretches their lead to 7 to open the second half.
Again, Reynolds is the guy that they really need to kind of step up his game offensively. His production just 1 for 6 here early in the second half, and he's a much better player.
Beeman averaging 18.5 points per game, has just 2. And Rogers with the basketball gets it to Shakur, who's back on the floor playing with 2 fouls after missing almost the last 15 minutes.
A little bother pressure in the backcourt by Virginia. They fall back into that 2-3 zone again, packing it in.
Well, Rogers' foot was out of bounds, and that's a rare make by Arizona, who was 1 for 13 from 3-point range.
That's what Chris is saying. I finally get a shot to go in, and it doesn't count. Again, being aware of where you are on the court, and you got that 3-point line in the corners. That's where guys really have a difficult time of having court awareness, keeping themselves in bounds, trying to get that 3-pointer shot off the dead corner. Joseph passed up a wide open 15-footer when they get something better.
Not this time. Adams with the rebound. Strong defense by Reynolds. They settle it off to Shakur. And Mustafa getting it to Adams on the wing. And there he goes. Singletary's trying for the defense. Rogers gets it back.
Good defense by Virginia.
Sure is.
Great rotation. Great job shutting off the interior.
That'll work till then.
But again, Shakur's penetration, we talked about that when he was out with the foul trouble in the first half. He is the one guy that is so good penetrating and passing on the move.
8 points now for Hassan Adams, and Arizona's lead is 37-29. Singletary, he's going to take it himself. A long fade and a bad shot, and Fox dives for it. Coming up with it, Rogers gives it off to Adams, back to Shakur. Oh! Wow! Timeout, Virginia. They were working on their breaks 1-on-1 and 2-on-1 run a lot in yesterday's practice, and this is the result.
Yeah, again, Mustafa Shakur, great job giving it back, laying it up there. Hot sauce, put some spice on it. Put some hot sauce on that turkey.
Mild or very hot?
Hot.
On his arm.
And, well, he should. Just a nice two-man break between Adams and Mustafa Shakur. And, again, the shot by Singletary led to poor defensive balance. Now you got 2-on-1. I talked about Hassan Adams just being your worst nightmare if you're the lone defender, and that's why the ability to climb the ladder, go up and get it, and throw it down with a little gusto, a little flair.
Arizona has forced 15 turnovers by Virginia, and Singletary has 6 of them.
Out of the timeout, Lute Olson right back into their pressure full court 1-2-2 defense, not looking to trap aggressively, just giving the Wahoos, the Cavaliers of Virginia, a little bit of a different look.
Reynolds dropping the basketball, getting it back, driving baseline, and gave a whistle and a foul called against the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona with their biggest lead of the game on a 17-1 run to take a 10-point edge. They were down one time by 5 points, and there's Dave Lato, who worked for Jim Calhoun at Northeastern, and was actually, when he graduated from Northeastern after playing for Jim Calhoun, he was working at a record store, cleaning offices as well in Southern California, and Coach Calhoun called him and said, "Hey, would you think about coaching?" And he goes, "I'd love to." And he said, "Well, call me back in 3 days." And later called him back the next day and said, I want to work for you, Coach."
And wasn't that some lowly grad assistant? He came in as a full-fledged assistant coach, and the rest is history, as they say.
He must have made quite an impression on Calhoun as a player. Reynolds forces it with 3 seconds left in the shot clock, and here comes Arizona. Rogers for 3.
Rogers going 0 for 5 going into that shot. I guess he's got to feel like the percentages are in his favor. He's going to knock one down. But that was a good rhythm step into it, jump shot out of transition.
And only Arizona's second three-pointer in 14 attempts in this game. Another good defensive play by the Wildcats, but stolen back by the Cavaliers. And Rogers gets a rip, and here he comes. Adams with the pull-up.
Nice.
They may need another timeout.
Nice job, and Dave Lato hears you. He's going to call one to stop the bleeding, but great job in transition, and love the fact that Hassan Adams used the backboard as a shooting helper on that fast break. Chris Rogers in transition. I mean, he's got the green light. He's a senior. Lute Olson gives his seniors that kind of freedom, knowing that he is due to hit one sooner or later. There's Hassan Adams, little fade on the jump shot. Does a nice job finding the bank angle on the fast break run to John Wooden-esque perfection.
Well, Lute Olson, he has done a marvelous job, but he has had an associate head coach with him almost every single year here in Arizona by the name of Jim Rosborough. And Lute Olson with 1,025 career wins. He had 283 in the high school and junior college ranks before moving up. But he said Rosborough has done a marvelous job. And I was talking with Jim yesterday about Chris Rogers' development, because I thought in the 3 games of the Maui Classic, I said, "Jim, he's still dribbling the ball too much." And he said, "Steve, our spacing in the floor wasn't good enough. It really wasn't Chris's fault." He really believes in the senior from Portland, Oregon. We've got a time out of the floor. Rosborough has to be pleased with Chris Rogers' play as the Wildcats are up 15 on Virginia. Smiles abound here in Arizona. The Wildcats tightened the screws on defense and got the ball to Adams.
Yeah, and Adams created something for himself, working the baseline, just 4 points in the first half for Hassan. He's got 8 so far here in the second half, and doing it like Hassan Adams does it. Take baseline, lob, dunk, little bank shot off the glass, some offensive rebounds inside. And that's how you want Hassan Adams playing. You want him to mix it up and not just try and settle for the long jump shots.
Billy Campbell comes in from the bench, and he forces a turnover on Hassan Adams. That was just Arizona's 6th turnover to 16 by Virginia. Billy Campbell, who rarely plays, all ACC honor roll last year for his academic and work ethic, but he is a walk-on. He will work with Sean Singletary.
Billy Campbell, the walk-on in the good guy to have on your squad. Good practice player. Keeps the pressure on Singletary, Reynolds in practice, and seemed to have a pretty decent stroke from the outside. Versatile athlete in high school, soccer player, baseball player.
Jason Kane can't get it to go. Shakur grabs the miss, and Arizona wants to run again. Campbell gets back defensively. Rogers. Catch and shoot and nail the three.
And you know the difference between Chris Rogers 0 for 5 in the first half and in the second half. You've got Mustafa Shakur on the floor as the ball handler, the setup guy, getting him the basketball in rhythm, coming off screens on the right side, coming to his left. And that's where Chris Rogers is most dangerous. When he's got the ball, just kind of pounding it at the top of the key and then decides to pull up for a long three-pointer, he's got no rhythm. That play, excellent rhythm, and you saw the results.
Well, Lute Olson has always been known as a point guard developer. You talk about Steve Kerr and Damon Stoudemire, Jason Terry, Mike Bibby, Jason Gardner, so many, and Shakur, outstanding. They're bringing in another good one next year, Nick Wise from Texas.
And you know what happened? Gilbert Arenas wasn't really a point guard here at Arizona, but he has turned into a terrific point guard in the NBA. And I think it was watching all the footage and playing with all the terrific point guards here at Arizona and being under the tutelage of Lute Olson and Jim Rothborough.
Well, he got one of the top point guards in the nation this year in J.P. Prince, a 6'6" point guard. Next year's Nick Wise, not nearly that big, 5 feet 10 inches tall, but built like Jason Gardner. Big shoulders on that young man.
Arizona falls back into their 2-3 zone. It's a little different than years past when it was pretty much 1-3-1 with Salim Stoudemire running the back line, baseline to baseline.
Singletary has it knocked away, and a foul will be called on the Wildcats.
Kurt Walters did come down a little on the arm. Looked like a lot of ball inside. I mean, you know, 6'11" going against a kid for 5'10", John Singletary.
Singletary with his 7th turnover.
Oh,
like this. How did he see Adams off his right shoulder?
Mustafa Shakur, an uncanny ability to throw that thing up there. In football, they call it touch. When a quarterback has touch, he's got to throw that thing going at full speed, one direction, throw it nice and soft. He does a great job of that, especially with Hassan Adams in the trailer position.
That's his 5th assist of the game. Virginia beginning to get blown out after they led by 5 late in the first half. Another force. The ball's on the floor, and we will have a tie-up, and it'll be a held ball situation. Virginia will have it, but Lute Olson has to love the hustle by his Wildcats in the second half.
Off the turnover, here's the Pontiac play of the game. Nice job, Mustafa Shakur, again, knowing that Hassan, he spots him right there. You see him looking out of the corner of his eye. So now all I got to do is just throw it up there nice and soft, and Hassan, hot sauce Adam, is going to do the rest.
That is our Pontiac play of the game. Pontiac, the official performance machines of the Pac-10. Hassan Adams, what a second half.
Yeah, he's been a performance machine for Arizona out here.
Look at the run, 27-1, since they were down by 6 points at 28-22. That's why many picked Arizona to win the Pac-10 conference. They won it last year. Washington won the postseason tournament in Los Angeles. Lute Olson lost 2 superstars in Channing Frye and Salim Stoudemire, but recruited well, and they have again for next year. Bringing in one of the top All-American, high school All-Americans in Chase Budinger from Southern California.
A couple of palming violations on that possession by Singletary, but Virginia's got to settle things down. Get somebody to help Singletary. You know, you got Chris Rogers defending him. He's not going to get a whole lot here this half.
Shakur bounces ahead to Rogers. Back to Shakur.
That's great ball movement. Great ball movement. That's great ball movement by Arizona. Lute Olson's got the level.
And Rogers nails it.
Yeah, that's been one of the problems I saw now with this team. Guys over dribbling. As you talked about, the lack of spacing is one reason for that, but it just seems to be selfishness permeating this Arizona basketball mentality here today.
We have played almost 7 minutes of the second half, and Dave Lato's Cavaliers have still not scored in the second.
And you know, a lot of it is great defense, some of it is careless ball handling, but you saw four different players touch the basketball on that possession for Arizona. That's the kind of unselfishness, ball distribution Lute Olson wants.
Well, next Sunday we have some great college basketball action coming your way. The Acura College Hoops tip-off show, and we've got the number 8 team in the nation and their big gun Adam Morrison going against number 25 Washington, and a guy I thought was one of the most underrated players in college basketball last year in Brandon Roy. What a player he is, and he's going to really lift Lorenzo Romar's Huskies this season.
Well, the ball's got to go through Brandon Roy. People don't realize he averaged 17, 18 points a game. He was averaging over 20 before he hurt his knee. And he shot 56% from the field, and those weren't all layups and dunks. Those were like medium-range jump shots, and he's just so fluid with his game. That's going to be a great matchup between Brandon Roy and Adam Morrison.
Inside 13 minutes remaining. Arizona beginning to run away with this one. Here's Singletary firing from long distance. He'll miss the shot. He has 15 in the first half, hasn't scored in the second half. And now going to the sideline to check in is Tanji Soroye. Brett Brielmeyer started the game for Ivan Radinovich, who is not playing because of an illness that he experienced coming into the shoot-around today.
This is Dave Lato's worst nightmare to go cold here in the second half, but you've got to give a lot of credit to the perimeter D of Shakur, Adams, and Rogers. I mean, these guys, when they get into lock-you-up mentality, I don't care who you are in college basketball, it's tough to score against this crew.
And this year, Arizona has depth. Granted, most of them are freshmen, but they're very talented freshmen. Joseph off the right side. That's the first field goal. It took 7.5 minutes into the second half, but the Cavaliers finally have a field goal.
You know, they held Michigan State almost 6 minutes. The final 6 minutes of regulation without a field goal in that game in Maui.
Shakur misses the jumper. Singletary flashing down the middle. His floater will not go, and it is knocked out of bounds. It will be Virginia basketball at the 12:05 mark. Virginia next has Northwestern at home. Then they are at Georgia Tech December 4th. They go home for one, and then they come all the way back out to the West Coast to play at Gonzaga. Isaiah Fox getting a fine ovation. He has contributed solid minutes off the bench.
Yeah, he has done a nice job. Again, he's earned himself, I think, a spot back into the rotation. Not that he was completely out. I know Ivan Radinovich tonight has led to his increased minutes, but he's really been productive and stayed within himself as a player.
Another foul on Arizona. Is Arizona now going with Brett Brielmeyer at the post and Marcus Williams at Adams at the 3 and Rogers and Shakur in the backcourt. That is the second foul on Brielmeyer. Virginia really hustling after the basketball, and Singletary scores. He now has 2 points. His first 2 in the second half, 16 for the game.
And talking with the Virginia coaching staff, Rob Lanier, one of their assistants, Dave Lato, their head coach, and they like the way this team is stuck to the game plan their first 2 games. Now, granted, they played Liberty, they played Richmond, and no Virginia. That's not playing against Lute Olson and his Wildcats, but they're still pretty much sticking with that game plan, even though their shots aren't falling.
Soroye picks up his 3rd foul. We'll take it a break. 11:34 remaining. Shakur, Adams. They have been quite a combo in the second half in Tucson. We have seen close games become blowouts through the years watching Arizona basketball. They're known for their great scoring runs, and this year 20-4 on Kansas, 21-9 on UConn, 21-6 against Michigan State, and a 27-1 run. And Lute Olson doing without Juwan McClellan, a talented sophomore from Houston Milby High School. He is academically ineligible until December 17th. They appealed it and lost it because in the summer, Juwan, who is an only child, lost his father, who suffered an aneurysm, and it was a shock to him, and it was so devastating. He really didn't keep up with his studies. The Arizona Wildcats appealed. They lost the appeal, so he will be ready to play December 17th. But as Lute Olson told me, his father was like a brother. They talk all the time.
Yeah, that's a tough loss, but that suit he's got on looks better than the suit I'm wearing. He's under that NBA dress code, sitting on the bench looking all dapper, but they need him. In the Pac-10 tournament last year, he averaged 11 points, almost 6 rebounds a game, shot 62% from the field, and he's going to help this team. He also pushed Hassan Adams in practice on a daily basis, kept him sharp, so a lot of benefits, a lot of intangibles of having a Juwan McClellan on the field.
A whistle and a foul called against the Arizona Wildcats. Again, he will be ready to go December 17th at Utah. We're just watching him in practice yesterday. He may be their one guy who can really fire it from the outside.
He can shoot. Just flat out, probably their most consistent outside shooter. And that's what this team, as you saw in the first half, went for 13 from the three-point stripe. Last year, he shot 39% as a freshman from the three-point line. And you know, with the added confidence of playing a year under Lute Olson, that percentage is going to go up.
Meantime, Sean Singletary at the free throw line. He now has 17 points, but 7 turnovers have been very costly as the Wildcats have forced 17 total in the game.
Value the basketball. And you can't say Singletary's been careless. It's just Arizona is so aggressive. The athletes, long arm, quick reactors to the ball.
This spacing just seems to be better here in the second half than it was at all in that Maui Invitational.
Yeah, they did a lot of work in practice yesterday. They had a 3-on-3 offensive, defensive drill with the whole emphasis being on spacing, moving without the ball. The ball had to go into the post and out 2 times before you could even think about making a move to the basket.
Adams' shot is blocked. Singletary against Shakur, and Mustafa forces, and it's an offensive foul called against Sean Singletary, and he is upset. That's his 3rd personal. So the 2 Philly guys match up, and this time Shakur's the winner.
Well, against Singletary, I think put some extras on it right here. I mean, he really throws his body, and again, there's that off arm, using that left arm to ward off the defensive presence of Mustafa Shakur, and that's what gets the foul called on him. Seen that with Diani out here, with Shakur, with Singletary a couple of times. Must be an ACC thing, East Coast thing.
Mohamed Tangara back in the game. Marcus Williams with him with Shakur, Rogers, and Adams. Williams, nice drive block. Goaltend by Soroye.
That was a close one, but a nice, aggressive, positive move. And Marcus Williams, little jab step left, goes down the lane, and that's what the Soroye does. He gets in there, cleans it up off the glass that time. In the officials' mind, it's kind of hard from where I'm sitting. Looked like a pretty decent block, but Marcus gets credit for the 2 points.
Arizona's made 10 of their 12 field goal attempts here in the second half. Soroye down low. Diani struggling with it. Rogers forces another turnover. Adams.
That's got to be offensive, no?
Are they calling a block? I guess so. Seems to be initiated by Hassan Adams.
Yeah, I think what they're going to say is J.R. Reynolds slid over underneath Hassan after Hassan rolls up in the air. That's exactly what he did. That's a good call. Right, when Hassan is in the air, Reynolds is still moving up underneath him, and you can't do that. But again, great defense on the part of Arizona. They forced a turnover down at the other end. The great aggressive, just aggressive defense on the perimeter.
Shakur turning down the shot, dribbles inside the paint, kicking it off to Rogers for a wide open 3.
Now, you know, I think one of the problems is realizing who the point guard is going to be. John Madden said if you got 2 quarterbacks, 2 starting quarterbacks, you don't have any. You got 2 guys trying to be the ball handler, the point guard out here on the floor. It causes problems. Right now everyone is deferring to Shakur as the point guard.
And he took it all the way and scores. Boy, their perimeter defense has just been brilliant. And it's been led by Rogers and Shakur here in the second half.
And Shakur's one of the most underrated defensive players in the conference, maybe in the country. I mean, people don't give him enough credit for the outstanding job that he does. Keep his man in front of him. He's got the long arms to bother jump shots on the outside.
Arizona grabbing the miss. Virginia now with 20 turnovers in the game to Arizona 7. Rogers corner, goes baseline, and lays it up and in.
That's that Wilson High School, Portland, Oregon mentality. Chris Rogers trying to get back in that scoring mode. He's already had a 20-point game, had 3 double-figure games so far this season. 18 on the evening tonight.
Here's Sean Singletary missing the long jumper. Tangara taps it to Adams. Adams swings and falls down, and no foul called. Williams goes for the save, and it'll be Virginia basketball at the 8:26 mark. The guard play has been brilliant. Shakur first. Shakur finds him, and Rogers scores.
Playing off each other. This time it's Hassan Adams. Nice job on the skip pass. He's knocked down a couple of 3-pointers, so defense has got to respect that. It'll show and go easy layup inside for Chris Rogers. I think it's a question of Chris Rogers also, Steve, finding his niche offensively. And this Chris Rogers is not going to blow by you off the dribble. He's going to spot up, knock down jump shots, and especially jumpers when he gets a kick to him from the point guard as opposed to trying to create his own shot.
Adams with his 9th rebound. Chris Rogers hits another, and he's got 20.
Chris Rogers like, I beg to differ. I can't create my own shot.
He's too shy of his career best. Hit 22 against USC last year. J.P. Prince in the game defending Sean Singletary. Boy, Arizona's defense, they've got a lot of players that are very similar, but they're so long.
They're long, and they aggressively pursue the basketball. And make no mistake, that's one thing that the coaching staff, Lute Olson, emphasizes in practice.
Chris Rogers with 20 points in the game, most of them in the second half. He drains another, and Arizona's up big on Virginia. It's hard to believe that at one time Arizona was down 28-22, but they made 14 of their 17 shots in the second half. Chris Rogers has been flat brilliant.
Yeah, he's done a great job of getting himself in rhythm, getting his feet set. But he averaged 27 points a game at Wilson High School in Portland. We saw none of that offense his first 3 years as he was the designated defensive stopper for the Wildcats these past 3 years. And now he's starting to find and regain that scoring touch, that rhythm, that outside shooting touch.
That's a little bit of a change. What a contrast. 4 for 17 and 11 for 12. Rogers, 15 of his 20 have come in the second half. And Arizona, 14 of 17 from the floor second half. A lot created because of their defense. Their keys were boards number 1, great D on Singletary and Reynolds number 2, contained transition. They worked on one-on-one breaks and two-on-one breaks yesterday in practice, and attack on the break. And I think Lute Olson would grade those an A+ in the second half.
And Sean Singletary had 14 points in the first half and for the game. That's his 19th points. I mean, they've really done a nice job getting in his head defensively and making everything awful tough and getting him frustrated and getting him pushing off of that left arm and complaining to the officials and throwing elbows after the free throw.
Singletary now with 19 points for the game.
Virginia going to extend some full court man-to-man pressure just to try to get themselves within striking distance. Work on this for that tough ACC schedule they've got coming up.
Daniel Dillon back in the floor. A lot of freshmen out there again with Chris Rogers. 4 freshmen with Chris Rogers, the senior, who's operating as the point guard. There's 6 seconds left in the shot clock. But tonight is the most high-profile non-conference game at home this year for Arizona.
I love the respect that Wilson shows his seniors. The shot clock is winding down.
Prince misses that 3. JP has a little bit of that flick of the wrist like Marcus Williams, and perhaps that's why that shot didn't go down. It hit left side of the iron and spun out. Yeah,
and he just got to get a little bit stronger in terms of upper body strength. He does a nice job. He's fearless taking it to the basket. He just needs the strength to finish on the collegiate level. And, you know, again, Lute raving about him last year, just talking about his vision as a passer and at 6'6" playing the point guard position. You're going to see a whole lot. Over a whole lot.
I think Lute Olson wants to see these freshmen in with a veteran point guard, so he brings Shakur back in. Here's Mohamed Tangara, misses badly. Singletary takes the rebound.
And again, great defense by Mustafa Shakur, keeping the ultra-quick shot Singletary in front of him.
And a personal foul will be called on Marcus Williams for bumping Singletary. Check that, I called 19 points. It's 20 points for Singletary, 7 of 16 from the floor. But the one thing he would like to take back are his 7 turnovers as the team's point guard.
So Marcus Williams will learn that when he hedges or shows on that screen, that he's got to prevent Singletary from turning that corner. He's got to show himself a little bit more for Singletary to either pick up the basketball, fan out with his ladder, or use a reverse dribble and go the other way.
Shakur. Got a good screen from Tangara, and the result is they give the ball to J.P. Prince, who is fouled slashing to the hoop. There is J.P. Prince, 6'6" true freshman from Memphis White Station, one of the top point guards in the nation. Averaged 27 points per game in Memphis, Tennessee. His responsibility will change here in college.
They won't score anywhere near that, but will be a solid double-figure scorer, setup guy, pretty sound defender on the perimeter, nowhere near the Chris Rogers, Mustafa Shakur mode as of yet. But his length is going to be a major problem against smaller point guards and guys on the outside he has to defend.
Prince misses them both. Arizona was the top foul shooting team in Pac-10 last year in the history, shooting almost 78% from the floor, but they're under 70 this year. Inside, Velasquez has it blocked into the hands of Shakur. And the foul.
Mustafa getting a little aggressive here. He's got 7 points at this stage of the game. Looks like he's getting a little point hungry. They continue to be the setup guy, but Mohamed Tangara rejects the inside attempt. Velasquez.
4 personal fouls.
Where's my pronunciation guide when I need it? Tangara, Velasquez, Shakur. Mustafa told me he put on about 8 or 9 pounds, and it's all solid muscle, and that's going to help him. Just help him at both ends of the floor. It'll help him finish a little stronger inside when he penetrates defensively. In terms of keeping some of these strong, quick, smaller guards in front of him, it's going to help him in that area.
I know there were a lot of fans who were concerned that the Wildcats opened 1 and 2, but Lute Olson said yesterday, I would rather lose a 1-point game than win by 40 early in the season. And he says, you need a teaching tool. And they had a teaching tool, what developed in the Maui Invitation. They said the practices have been outstanding this week in preparation for Virginia, working with a very young team, still searching for its identity after you lose 2 go-to guys, 1 outside and Stoudemire, 1 inside and Channing Frye.
Well, Virginia, I mean, that's a perfect example. We saw Dave Lato there. I mean, they beat Liberty, they beat Richmond, blew them out, held both teams under 50 points, held them below 30% field goal percentage. And it can give you a little bit of a false sense of where you really are. They get a chance to find out where they are.
Tangara with his first field goal. And Arizona goes up 66-37.
Mohamed Tangara, the redshirt freshman, set out last year because of a back injury. Glass eater inside. If he develops some decent offensive skills with his back to the basket like he showed on that play, he could be a real solid force inside for Arizona.
I got one on the wrong guy.
Well, Mohamed Tangara, when he was being recruited, who's the great forward for the Philadelphia 76ers, Andre Iguodala. They were playing a basketball game after he had signed, and Lute Olson, or before he had signed, just a pickup game, and Iguodala was asked by Coach Olson what he thought of Tangara, and Iguodala says, I don't like him, and Lute was kind of surprised and said, why? And he said, because he doesn't let me get any rebounds.
Andre doing his thing, as you mentioned, for the starting defensive lockup guy for the 76ers.
Shakur with the floater. He has 11 now as Arizona has opened up a 68-39 lead on the Virginia Cavaliers.
We talked about that matchup between the Philly point guard, Singletary against Shakur. Singletary's got the point advantage, but Shakur could say scoreboard.
Diano, bad miss. Dylan fighting for it, loses it to J.R. Reynolds, who scores. But J.R. Reynolds making his second field goal of the game. J.R. Reynolds came in averaging 18.5 points per game, and he has been held down. Shakur saves it in the corner and nails the three.
Dave Hall going to talk to the two bigs inside, Nikolauskas and Isaiah Fox. And that friction between those two to start a fire. But here's Mustafa just chasing down the pass from Prince. And you remember his freshman year, I mean, he shot that medicine ball jumper where he really labored to get the ball up. And he's worked the last couple of years of smoothing out that stroke. And it's paid off here in the second half.
They were 1 for 13 in the first 20 minutes, and they are perfect 4 for 4 in the second half. They've done a great job defending Reynolds.
Yeah, that's been a big key. Really quiet. Here's a kid Reynolds that had a 32-point game in the ACC tournament game.
Daniel Dillon, and he can't stick it back in.
But that was kind of reminiscent of an Akeem Olajuwon type pursuit of the basketball, the old Superman drill that you do in practice.
We've got a time on the floor. Mustafa Shakur has been excellent in the second half. 7 assists and 14 points. Arizona with a 30-point lead on the Virginia Cavaliers. Our Chevy student athlete. How about Billy Campbell, young man from Atlanta, Georgia, all ACC honor for academic and athletic honor roll, and he is majoring in economics. His 4th year in the program, a walk-on. Love to see those young men who, how about that? Didn't know his father was the ex-mayor of Atlanta, Georgia.
Got an uncle, Ed Tapscott, who was the former head coach at American University, who's now NBA executive with Charlotte Bobcats, I believe. And he just exudes success. I'll probably be going to him 5 years from now asking him for a job. Mr. Campbell, I did your games when you was at Virginia. I need a job.
You're the best. Where do you come up with this stuff?
I'm serious, man. I'm making friends with all these Virginia guys, especially the bench guys,
Yeah, I see how much you've been hanging around Stanford, too.
Our leaders of tomorrow.
Yes. Sean Singletary, one of those leaders. He has been the point guard with 22 points in this game. And no assists and 7 turnovers for Sean Singletary. Wow. Meantime, Shakur, his game does not compare as far as points go with 14 points, but Shakur 7 assists in the game. And a number of forced turnovers and steals. So Shakur wins the edge after Singletary got him last year right in Charlottesville. Building a beautiful new arena. They'll be ready, the John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville next year. $130 million arena. I think it's going to be one of the finest in America.
Let's see, about 15,000.
Well, they have had some success at Virginia. Go back and remember Terry Holland, their excellent coach, who took his team to 9 NCAA tournaments and a couple of Final Fours. He had Ralph Sampson on his team.
Ralph Sampson, Jeff Lamp, another first-team All-American. Barry Parkhill in the early 70s. Wally Walker led them to their first ACC tournament championship.
Marcus Williams with the bank shot. He now has 8 points. Williams very active.
You got Mark Ivoroni, another Virginia alum who's an outstanding assistant coach with the Phoenix Suns. He's here attending the game. Joe, up or down? I don't know. You can tell I don't go to Virginia. Go wherever from Phoenix to come here to Tucson to watch your alma mater play.
Dillon misses the shot, and it is knocked around, claimed by Brielmaier. Brielmaier got the start, and a steal by Singletary. He wraps it around the left side, going against the freshman Prince. 24 points for Sean Singletary. Just one shy of his career best. That was against Auburn last year with 25. Brielmaier got it.
Brett drilling it.
First field goal of the game.
An accomplished or acclaimed tight end, defensive player on the football team in Minnesota. So he loves the contact inside, shows a nice touch on the outside. Wow, this is a forgetful game for J.R. Reynolds.
Well, John Paul Jones Arena will mean a lot for Dave Lato's recruiting. It's one reason he chose to leave DePaul and come to Virginia. Virginia, they've been playing in University Hall since 1965. Looking forward to that.
They have 1.5 basketball courts per program, the women's and men's. You know, Title IX, got to make sure everything's equitable and comes all that kind of stuff. But you mentioned it's just a great recruiting tool, and I really look for Dave Lato to do a tremendous job. He said he learned something from that Northeastern debacle when he was like 4 and 24. By the time he got his second opportunity to be a head coach at DePaul, he was a lot more confident. He'd already faced the good, the bad, the ugly of collegiate coaching. And I just a very, very engaging young man. And I think he's going to attract the recruits, and especially with the new building and the ACC and all the positives that Virginia provides.
He came in here with a very young team, only 7 players in scholarship, starting 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores in this game. And they led at one point by 6 points. Now they are down by too many, 78-44 to Arizona. Wildcats have a lot of their freshmen on the floor. 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore. There's Reynolds with the floater in the lane. Just his second field goal of the second half, and a total of 7 points for J.R. Reynolds. Completely closed out. Williams. No. Timeout call by Brett Brielmaier, who grabbed the offensive rebound, and with 1:22 left, Lute Olson looking to go 2-2 on the season. Arizona next will be at Houston. Then they've got 2 at home against Northern Arizona and St. Mary's. They go to Utah this year. That will be a tough one. Then host the Fiesta Classic. But it'll be tough to win 30 games. The Pac-10 much improved, and last year Arizona had to battle Washington all the way down to the very end. They beat them by 1 game. 15-3 over 14-4, and UCLA, I think, much improved. They've started 4-1, even though they don't have Josh Shipp. The Aboya, the freshman who they really like, has been out. And I think Jordan Farmar is one of the top sophomore point guards, along with Daniel Gibson, in the nation.
Yeah, and once they get Josh Shipp, you mentioned him back. Lorenzo Mata played well against Drexel back in New York. I think he's a guy that has earned him some time in the rotation. I like Washington. Everybody is kind of sleeping on the Huskies because of the loss of Will Conroy and Nate Robinson. But you see him against Loyola the other night. I mean, this is going to be a team to be dealt with in the Pac-10. They might be a sleeper in terms of a conference championship, at least vying for one.
Another sleeper might be Oregon. I mean, they had a lot of perimeter players, and then when Ivan Johnson left Cincinnati because Bob Huggins was no longer the coach, Scott Duncan, Ernie Kent did a great job in wooing him to come to Eugene. Now they've got a low-post threat. We'll get a chance to see them against Georgetown next week.
Yeah, and Ivan Johnson, he left Cincinnati, played at Southwest Junior College in Los Angeles, averaged 20-plus points a game, 10 or 11 rebounds a game. And I asked him about the comparisons to Robert Johnson, another JC transfer. I said not even on the same page in terms of his offensive development. Ivan Johnson is a much better offensive player. Now, Robert Johnson was no slouch a couple of years ago for Oregon, so they are going to be much improved, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to bring to the table in Eugene next week.
Marty Lunan, Malik Hairston, Bryce Taylor,
Tampa Gucci, Chamberlain Gucci.
Baga here is Baga. Modern day. He took a big swing yesterday in practice.
Yeah, he was the guy that was appointed to drive to the basket and let the big men try and contest and/or block his shot. And they knocked him out of midair. He fell flat on his back and had to call for the trainer right away.
Lute Olson likes that. He's got a smile on his face. So does Jim Rosborough, his associate head coach. And there's David, a walk-on.
Burying the deep jumper. And you see it. Look at that. Look at the bench. I love that. Verdejo and Jawan McClellan, his biggest cheerleaders.
Lute Olson said one time he'd take anybody from modern day. It's so well coached by Gary McKnight, and he's had Miles Simon, Reggie Gary, and now David Baga. And I think he's getting the big Jacobson kid, big 7-footer there.
There's Jacobson. Modern day just keeps cranking him out. There's Miles Simon. Been watching him and knowing him since he's 14, 15 years old. Played on an AAU team with my son Chris Johnson, Doug Gottlieb, who later played for Oklahoma State, J.R. Henderson, who also played for UCLA. And he was probably the most least likely guy out of that crew that you would think would be the most outstanding player in an NCAA championship game. And he did it.
He was the MVP. Joseph outside missing. Virginia knocks it down. Virginia's defense has been outstanding. They've held Virginia down to 51 points. Wildcats lead by 30. Prince looking over at the coach to see what he wants to run.
And I think Arizona's found out something in this game in the second half in particular. Mustafa Shakur, between Chris Rogers and Mustafa, I thought, a little bit of confusion just in terms of who was going to be the primary ball handler. And I think Chris Rogers benefits when he's receiving those passes for open jump shots, and this team benefits because Mustafa is an excellent point guard.
They're like the Chicago Bears. They'll win because of their defense. Lute Olson moves his record to 2-2 on the year with a resounding 30-point thumping of the Virginia Cavaliers. 81-51 the final score. Well, that's it from Tucson, Arizona, where the final score is Virginia 51, Arizona 81. For Marcus Johnson, I'm Steve Physiok saying so long to everyone and have a happy holiday weekend as we celebrate Thanksgiving. And thanks for watching exclusive coverage of Pac-10 Hoops on FSN.